Newton's first law of motion. How many remember this from school? Any object at rest tends to stay at rest. Any object in motion tends to stay in motion. So the thing is, you've got to start motion to be a good server. So you do small things, not those super habits, just small things each and every day that finally begin to change and shape your heart.
If you would like weekly content that builds your faith and helps you walk out all that God has for your life, subscribe and be a part of Life Family.
Heartbeat. This is a series we've been doing in February. It's a Black History Month, and it's also Love Month and Relationship Month. And so we've been talking about heartbeats, relationships in the first week, connecting in a life group this past week, and today, wholehearted serving. What would someone say that you're always doing? You know, when I think about so-and-so, they're always doing this. What is that? Well, probably watching video games. I read a statistic that said the average of a young man will spend 10,000 hours playing video games before he's 21. 10,000. What would someone say you're always doing? Always on my phone. I get this thing at the end of the week and it shows me how much screen time, and I hate that thing. I don't know why they send that. I hate it. This week it said I was on there 5 hours a day. I'm thinking to myself, 5 hours a day? 34 hours this week I have been on my phone doing stuff like, what would someone say you're always doing? Apparently on my phone. Working, traveling. What would someone say you're always doing? Encouraging, complaining. We are a self-absorbed, self-serving culture, this Americanized culture. We are heavily self-promoted. If you just go to Google search and put in self-promotion, well, first of all, your phone will blow up. But here are just some I found at a very quick little search. Here's 5 tips for practicing self-promotion without being totally annoying. That's from entrepreneur.com. Savvy self-promotion from Harvard, and the right way to self-promote Forbes. There's hundreds of others. The truth is we have to promote ourselves. The Lord holds us responsible for the gifts and talents He's given. We will someday answer to the Lord, I used my gifts and talents to the best of my abilities. And He's going to say, well done. But there is another thing that's inherent in the Americanized culture that is counter-Christian, and He wants to address it. Do you know that in a recent survey with teens, 54% of all of those surveyed said they wanted a career as a celebrity? That's your career, being a celebrity. Well, because we see so much of people, Instagram, TikTok, all of these things that are stars and have all these followers, like, that's what I want to be. I want to self-promote. Well, there's nothing wrong with self-promotion, but there's another thing that we should add and be aware of. What would someone say you're always doing? Well, as a follower of Jesus, it should be serving. How are you doing with serving? Serving? I'm not doing too good. Serving is not something we do, it's someone we are. And out of a servant's heart comes the ability to serve. It's transformational. It's not thinking of yourself less, it's thinking of others more. Mark 10:42, these are the words of Jesus. You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentile lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. You can see right here, he's describing me. I need someone to boss around. I need someone to manage. And this is the Americanized, dream. I want to be top of the ladder. Nothing wrong with that. And I want to do this. All right, so now he introduces a second way to think about this. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great, I do, must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first, I do, must be slave of all. That's so upside down. For even the Son of Man, that's Jesus, did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. The first part of this is talking about my craving to have a title, to have a corner desk, to be thought of in a certain way in the community, to be like, man, that's the guy. Nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong, though, with this second part that Jesus introduces me to. He introduces me to the concept of who are you serving? Who are you helping? Who are you lifting? What need are you meeting? And so, to be a good someone who serves, I need to work on my serve. If you play volleyball people, tennis, not a very active bunch here. All right. Racquetball, okay. Pickleball. Oh yeah, pickleball, that's coming on. I need to learn how to do that. All of these and so many other sports, if you master a good serve, it changes the game. You have a severe advantage if you have a good serve. When I started playing racquetball many years ago in college, there was an older gentleman always at the court, and he would mentor me on how to be a good racquetball player. And one day he said to me, man, you're catching on quick. But he said, come in here when no one's here and just practice your serve for about an hour. I thought, how boring. So I went to the court and I, tried to do that. I lasted about 10 minutes. This is boring. But what he said to me later is a great serve changes the game. A great serve changes the game. If you master a good serve, it just changes the game. You have a severe advantage. Now, what would someone say you're always doing? Serving. If you're going to be a good server, you have to work on your serve. Acts 9:36. In Joppa, which is a kind of an odd name, it's a city there in Israel, there was a disciple named Tabitha. She was always doing good and helping the poor. Tabitha, what were you always doing? What were you known for? Always doing good, helping the poor. We're like, well, she didn't have a lot of other things to do. She had a lot of free time. No, what you need to know about Tabitha is she was rich, straight up affluent. She was entrepreneurial. She was a hard charger. She was type A. She was getting after it. She had her whole business. If you saw her life, you'd say, I want that life. But there was a second component that she worked hard on, and it was this component of serving. She was always doing good and helping the poor. Now, when we talk about poor, we kind of always narrow it down to these folks down here on the corner with the sign. Well, it could be that. But poor in this context was not meaning those who were destitute financially. It could be. But the poor, this was a big bucket that people who were marginalized got thrown in. So if you were a non-Jew, you were considered poor. If you were a woman, if you were a child, if you were someone who had made some serious mistakes, had some regrets that were made public, you would be in the poor bucket. So she was not just helping people materially. She was helping the marginalized, lift them up, working on your serve. You were not born to serve. You were born to be served. This has to be a transformation of the heart that you have to work on. I need to work on my serve, because I promise you, given your day tomorrow, that will never come up. Who can I serve today? It's how am I going to get all the stuff I need to get done? The Lord kind of steps into our life and he says, and one more thing. Yes, sir. Work on your serve. Because if you have a good serve, it changes the game. I have found that to be true. Most successful people aren't great at everything. They make a big impact, though, with small habits that they keep repeating. I love what Pastor Groeschel said. Successful people do consistently what other people do occasionally. So if you're going to be a good server, you have to do it consistently, and you will become one. I want to be a serving leader. I want that to be said of me. That wasn't always what I wanted said of me. I wanted to be the fastest growing. I wanted to be the most popular. I wanted to be the church everybody thought of. I wanted to be that super imaging, that I needed that Instagram thing, and I needed nothing wrong with all that. But when that became my only desire, I began to know I'm not a serving leader. I'm a leader that wants to be served. Now, everybody here is serving someone, and you're leading someone. Some of you are leading a friend, some of you are leading a spouse, some of you are leading children, co-workers, some of you are leading a company, but everybody here and everybody watching is leading something. What kind of leader do they say behind your back that you are? They won't say it to your face. What do you think they're saying about you? I tell you what, that Randy, he's a leader. What is that? Well, I don't know what it is, but I know what I want it to be. I want it to be a serving leader. I want my wife to say, man, when you talk about, my husband, he is what kind of husband? He's a serving husband. I want that said of me. I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. James Clear wrote a best-selling book called Atomic Habits. And he said, for any habits that eventually transform you, don't chase super habits. He said there is a myth among all of us, and especially leaders, that if you achieve a super habit, you'll be a great leader. But he says in his book, it reminds us of Newton's first law of motion. How many remember this from school? Any object at rest tends to stay at rest. Any object in motion tends to stay in motion. So the thing is, you've got to start motion to be a good server. So you do small things, not those super habits, just small things each and every day that finally begin to change and shape your heart. So start in just little 30-second increments. Don't worry about doing this big repurposing. Just start 30 seconds. You can email somebody. Just 30 seconds. So what would you say? Well, you would send this to a coworker or someone that works for you and just say, listen, I've noticed how hard you've been working lately. I've noticed that you work without applause. Send this to one of your children. Hey, I just want to tell you what a great kid you are and how blessed I am to be your mother, your father. It's just that kind of thing. A text, 30 seconds. Not a hyper super habit, it's a little bitty. Text. Compliment. Who have you complimented? I criticize a lot. Who am I complimenting? Man, I just want to thank you. All of this is this is very compelling, and it begins to shape your heart. Hold the elevator for someone, or hold the door for someone, or let another car merge in front of you. Unless it has California plates. The Lord doesn't expect you to do that. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. I want to be a serving leader. Okay, start with these little bitty things. Do them every day and watch how your heart changes. I want to become a leader who loves people. I want you to be a leader who loves people. I want you to be a leader who develops people. So, like coffee with someone trying to start a business. Your business is up and going and you're rocking and rolling and have been. But this guy, this young lady, she's entrepreneurial. She'd like to start just mentoring. I can have a cup of coffee with you. A leader who develops people. Someone on your staff that you say, man, they got potential. I want to spend time with them. I want to become a leader who has integrity. Integrity comes from the word integer, which means whole number. I don't want to be half of anything. I don't want to be a quarter of anything. I want to be full, integritous leader. And I want to become a leader who serves. Work on your serve. Do it today. And watch how your life changes. The second thing is to be a great leader, a serving leader, you have to find a towel. I saw some of you looking at me when I brought this up. You were like, is he going to sweat a lot? No, this is a towel. I like this. It says LifeFamily on it. Very cool. This is what we give people when they get baptized. So another great reason to get baptized. You get a free towel. You need a towel. Why would I need a towel? Well, John 13 is the towel narrative. I think most of you know this story. Even if you don't know the Bible well, this is the night of Jesus' betrayal. So at the end of this evening, he's going to be beaten, shackled, and thrown in jail. But before that evening, about sundown, there is a Passover supper, Seder. And Jesus intentionally supplied some things and left some things out. What he supplied was the meal. He got the meal ready. He had people get the room ready. But there was one thing he left out. What did he leave out? He left out the guy who does the least loved job of anybody. Jesus got up from the meal. He took off his outer clothing and he wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began, to wash the disciples' feet. You can't be serious. Can you imagine how awkward it would be if I put a towel around my waist, if I had a basin of water up here, if I poured water into it, and I just like one by one, Billy, just went down the row and said, come up here, take your shoes off, let me wash your feet. All of you would be so like, where's the exit? How quick can I get out of here? That's not happening. It's just, how we feel about that. This is at another level. Now, these people didn't have the kind of shoes we have. They were open-toed. They didn't have pavement, concrete, parking, sidewalks. They were walking in dust and dirt. Animals did what animals do all over the place. It was just a mess. And you never would walk into somebody's house without first having your feet washed. Well, so here's the thing. This is what Jesus left out. The guy that did the feet washing, he was paid to do that. He would be the very lowest on the socioeconomic ladder. The Lord says to him, we won't be needing you today. Really? Aren't you going to have a Seder supper? Yes, but we got it. Okay. So all of these guys walk in. They're looking at the meal, and they all kind of start reclining. No chairs, just reclining around the table. And I don't guess they even thought about it much, but finally Jesus gets up and he puts this towel around his waist and he says, all right, fellas, I'm going to wash your feet. they were appalled. What? You, the great teacher, the great master, the great king, the great Lord. Talk about some titles. King of kings, Lord of lords, Rose of Sharon. I mean, some titles. And he gets up and he says, and this is what being a great leader looks like. You got to find a towel. Put a towel, starts washing the feet. Every foot he washed, the Lord knew, this man will run from me tonight like they never knew me. I wonder what it was like for him to hold the calloused heel of Judas as he washed his feet. You ever washed Judas' feet? The person that betrayed you, the person that let you down, the person that hurt you, wounded you. Can you imagine kneeling before that person with a basin of water and washing their feet? No. Well, you can if you become a servant of the Lord. In this room on that day, there should have been 12 servants and 1 Lord. But actually, there were 12 lords and only 1 who knew anything about serving. And that's the man that invites me and you, who says, the single parent that you keep walking by, what if you got involved in their life? What if you became a friend to their children? The person that just moved into town on your block, knows nobody, what if you just walk across the street? All of these little things that we know we could do, we just don't because we're very busy. The greatest enemy to the life you desire may be the life you're living. I might need to ask the Lord to help me with my serve, and I might need to ask the Lord to give me a towel. I don't like what I'm becoming. Some years ago, I told the Lord that. I don't like what I'm becoming. Becoming arrogant, I'm becoming cynical, I'm becoming withdrawn. I won't engage people. It's too hurtful. And then I just said, I don't like that. I don't like who I was becoming. And I feel like the Lord said, well, good, here you go. Try that on, see if that fits. It fit really well. Matthew 11:28. Are you tired, worn out? Now, this is not physically. It's just the spirit of always having to be the best, to be the greatest, to self-promote, and an unawareness of people all around you struggling. Are you tired of that? Yes. Come to me. Get away with me. Love this. Recover your life. And I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me, work with me, watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. That's beautiful out of the Message. The unforced rhythms of grace. What do I see? What do I say? What do I hear? This now just becomes an awareness that you have. I am now a servant of Jesus Christ. Yes, I'm a capitalist, definitely, but I'm also a servant. What do I see? I see the needs of people around me. What do I say? I say yes to those needs, and I try to meet them, and I say no to other things that I have wasted so much time on. What do I hear? I hear a still small voice of the Holy Spirit speak to me and say, notice her, notice him, look at the sadness, help him, help her, just that. Serve. The unforced rhythms unforced rhythms of grace. Ain't nobody forcing you to do this. This is unforced rhythms. And man, when you get into this rhythm, it's unbelievable. Here at Life Family, we encourage you to be transformed by using the ACTS model, A-C-T-X, ACTS. The T for us is the transformation I believe God's bringing to your life. How do you measure transformation? Good question. Here's how we do it. The A is awaken spiritually. That means show up for Sunday service, just like you're doing. Because things happen here in the room. I want to be in the room where it happens. Awaken spiritually. And then C, connect in authentic relationships. That's life groups that we talked about yesterday. What if you got in a group of 8, 10 people and either virtually or in person, and you just started, meeting with these people when your schedule allows, when their schedule allows, but you're pouring into them, they're pouring into you. And then S, serve faithfully. This is something called the dream teams. Dream teams is where you serve this church or the church you're in, and you serve your community. So there are a lot of things that this church needs. We need you. And there are entry-level things you can do. It's just kind of the maintenance of this place, everything from parking to serving to security. And then there are ministerial type places available for you, like serving with our children, serving with our teens, serving with the single adults, married couples, seasoned people. Seasoned people. Got to be careful with that. They're looking at me. So all of you have a gift and all of you have talent, and this is where you just serve faithfully on a dream team. Well, how do I get on a dream team? Well, you go to life.family/dream team, and you select the campus that you attend, and you'll see all the dream team possibilities listed and some that are not. And you just begin to select, I could do that, I could do that. I'll try this, I'll try that. But it's just in the serving, wearing the towel, that something just begins to happen to you. And it's not all accumulation, and it's not all top of the ladder. It's all good. There's something that happens when you put the towel on. In Romans 16, the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book of Romans in the New Testament, he does a shout out to 28 people. If you ever want a good night's sleep, and you don't want to take Excedrin PM or an Ambien or something else, read Romans 16. You'll be out like a light. Because he just starts naming people. Phoebe, Priscilla, Epentus, I don't know. Andrianakis, I don't know, Junia, Ampliatus, and other strange names. And he just shout outs. But when you read, who are these people? They're people who served the church in Rome, the Christian church in Rome. Many of them served in threat of their life as Rome was persecuting the church. Downtown, Tim and Tracy, setting up production every week. Ryan, the pro presenter. Downtown, Kara, social media. Life Marble Falls, Jason, safety team coordinator. Arrives before everyone. Last one to leave. Oversees the count team every Sunday. Catherine and Michelle. Robert, the king of the parking team. Southwest, the Nathaniel family, serving Life Kids with their family every Sunday at 11 a.m. Dennis serves faithfully, making coffee. Love that. Teresa, Felipe, Michael serves on the production team. Life Dripping Springs, Ashley, the nursery director, Kyle, load in and parking team, Josh, production team, Life Austin Mueller, Isaac, that shows up early for Sunday, Megan, who coordinates all the dream teams, Jennifer, who shows up early to make coffee. That list could take us all day. Stuart and Alanya show up every Sunday, serve. There's so many of you. I mean, we could name. Why do these people get a shout out in the Bible? Because they put on a towel and they served. What about you? What would say most of you do? I want to be known as someone who served.
Hey, thank you for being a part of service today. We hope that God's word met you right where you are. We hope you took something that's going to help you move forward in God's best for your life. We want to hear from you. There's a link right below this video you can click on. Send us a note. Let us know what's going on in your world, where you're watching from, maybe even how we can be praying for you. We love believing God with you for God's best in your life. You can do that by clicking that link, sending us a short note. Hey, maybe also you've made a decision to follow Jesus recently. That excites us. We celebrate with you. We want to hear from you. We want to know what God is doing in your life. You can text the word follow to 22999. We'll respond back with a link that you can click on. Go to our website. We have some great next steps for you, how to move forward in that decision that you've made to follow Jesus. Whether it's water baptism, whether it's getting in a life group, or maybe even planning in God's house right here with us in Life Track. We know whatever that next step is, God has great plans for your life, and we want to be a part of seeing all of God's best fulfilled in your heart and in your life. We hope you're doing awesome. We can't wait to see you next time.
If you don't have a home church, we would love to invite you to be part of Life Family. Remember, you belong here. Join us again next Sunday or anytime throughout the week. Hit that bell so you never miss when we post a new video. Hope to see you again soon.